صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. We live in a world where from every angle a different dawah, a different call, a different attraction is being given. On the roads you will see someone advertising to a car, someone advertising for another house, someone advertising for a mattress, someone advertising for the whole bed. When you look in the right you will see an advertisement, you look in the left you will see another advertisement. And every advertisement will show that if you have to get an item, then that item will come with what is called happiness. There is something called saman rahat, that the items that give you sleep, make you relax, like the aircon, like the fan. And there is something called rahat. Rahat means you are relaxed. The aircon and the fan, when they advertise it, they will advertise it that when you put on the aircon, you will be in the best of conditions. But if you visit the hospital, you will see the hospital got the best aircon system in the world. But the patient in the hospital is not in the best of conditions at all. And if you go out in the roads, and you will see one person sitting there under the tree, and he is relaxed, but he got no aircon. So that the system, that advertisement was a lie. And it showed the aircon and it gave the impression that this aircon comes with happiness. The aircon, the most it can say is, if you're happy, I can make you happier. If you're happy, I can make you happier. If you relax, I can increase in your being relaxed. But that individual who's tight, that individual who's irritated, that individual who's worried, that individual who's concerned, that individual, he can have the best around him. The aircon, the fan, the food, the woman. He can be taking a cigarette, he can be taking a drug. He can be the supplier of weed, he can be the eater of weed. He can be smiling when he's taking the thing and talking high talk. But that individual, whenever you have to ask him, are you high? You will find a time coming where when no one is around, he wants to just convert to suicide. How is it that the aircon and the fan can't give happiness? If I have the best of mattresses, and the entire system of the world after showing the aircon, showing the fan, showing the mattress, showing the phone, showing the car, showing the woman, and he said if you got all of this, which is called saman rahat, the items of happiness, you got happiness. And then one more dawah is given, to get all of this you need money. Not a little money, you need a lot of money. To get one car, you need the money of one car. But to get the car of your dreams, you need money of your dreams. To get a woman, you need to get married. But to get the woman of your dreams, you have to be a habitual adulterer. To see something that is halal, you can get it very easily. But to enjoy a haram system, you will have to make yourself like an animal. That dawah that came second, after showing that you want happiness, go for it. And he made the first jump, I want it. He went running for the aircon. He went running for the fan. He put up the house. He brought the mattress. He bought the curtains. He said, now I got my house ready. Now I need a wife. When they asked him, what you looking for, a wife? He said, same like the house. I wanted the smartest house, so I want the smartest wife. He said, I wanted the fastest car, so I wanted the fastest wife. He said, I wanted the hottest food, so I want the hottest girl. Everything, he said, I want the best wife. Saman rahat. If I got it, I'm a happy man. One person was standing at the train station, and as the train goes past, he sees first class. Whenever we enter the aeroplane, they'll always show you first class. Amazing, they make you walk past first class. If they really were nice people, They will say, sir, since you don't have the ticket, you go from the other entrance. Why they make us walk past first class? Just so they make us feel bad that you're not sitting here. That's the worst a man can do. Your friend says, I'm going to give you one car as a hadiah, gift. You say, what a friend. But he sells Porsches and Lamborghinis. When he says hadiah, you say, now when he takes you to his garage, he takes you past all of them. And now he brings you to second-hand cars. And in that second-hand, there's a jalopy. He says, hadiah, where hadiah? You say, you broke my heart. They put you in that aeroplane and they make you see first class. Now they got something else called economy premium. Economy always meant you poor. Now when you walk past that, it means you're not poor, you're the poorest of all. Carry on. Now they push you in C class. Now even if you're flying in the aeroplane, you're not happy. You're looking at your seat, you say, so small. And they're not showing you first class and whatever they call premium class. You would have sat in that and you would be relaxed. Like, I've got a seat in an aeroplane. Say, look out at the clouds, I'm going in the sky. But when you came in first class, as you're sitting, you're watching there, I wonder what happens there. And they even close the curtain. So you can't see, as though their toilet is something different. Nothing there, nothing. But how they made that you must see the world where you can't get it. And then they said, try now. Never will man be happy. Never. A man who bought his first car, if he allows his eye to believe the lie of attraction, will never be happy with any car. Because as soon as he starts driving, his friend comes next to him with a smarter car. If he bought electric, he bought something better than electric. If he bought Tesla, he bought something better than Tesla. He just came on the road and somebody else came. He just took out his scooter and go, and the other man came with a louder there his heart was. He just got married. He was so happy, I got the beautiest, prettiest girl in the world. But he never allowed his eye to keep in its place. That night, he looked at another woman and said, if I knew she was around the corner, I wouldn't have married this one. From that day, he will never see beauty in his wife. You're supposed to tell him the next day, Barakallah, you're so happy you got married. He's not married. He's thinking, did I make the right decision? If this eye looks at the lie of attraction, it will put itself where they wrote there, this is happiness. That word happiness is a lie. Every attraction itself is the poison to create depression. Every attraction. Because it's a lie. So that man who's sitting in first class, when that train goes past, you will think, what a man. I wish I can be in first class. And then the train continues. If someone ever had a friend which is called Qur'an, and Qur'an is my friend and your friend. One problem me and you have, we don't understand Qur'an. We don't understand it at all. So when Qur'an, like a friend, tries to talk to me and you, it is in a language that we can't understand. I know English, you know English. But I can tell you your English is different from my English. When I hear you people talking, I think you're talking Gujarati. Even then I can't work out now, what is the man? Is he talking for me or against me? But it's English. But in Quran, it's not even English. So for me to relate with Quran, I have to learn to move away from my English. And I have to make a journey to say, what is my friend trying to say to me? This is a friend that will never leave us in the grave. It will never leave us on Hashr. It will never leave us at the scales. It will never leave us when crossing Sirat. It will never leave us at the doors of Jannah. It comes, Quran will say, I will not be happy until I deliver you to where I'm happy. It will remain with the person till the ending. Only the man has to keep it his friend till death. This friend is a friend which continues speaking to me and you, and he doesn't get angry also. Just today I went to the man who speaks your language, your English. I can't understand it. So he said something to me, you don't understand. I'm telling my friend, speak like me, I'll understand. How am I going to understand? But when Quran speaks and we don't understand, it doesn't get upset. It continues speaking and continues speaking. But the time has to come when me and you feel a little bad. That such a friend that has promised it will never leave us till the end. At the time on Qiyamah when everyone will go into a state of shock. And even a Nabi of Allah will say that I can't talk at the moment. Even at that moment, Quran will stand next to its friend. And it will say, I'll speak. Quran is the quality, is the sifat of Allah, quality of Allah. It's a non-created miracle. If you can make this our friend, we will be with a support that will never give up. But as this Quran speaks to us, speaks to us, speaks to us, we have to one day feel sad and say, isn't it right that I start listening to my friend? And when you will listen to the message of this friend, every verse, every surah, Allah Tabarakala, فَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Almighty Allah says, what is wrong with the disbelievers? What is wrong with the disbelievers that until today they have not taken out time to ponder over the meaning of Quran? Ulama have said, look at this verse. Who was going to read Quran? The believer. Supposed to have been, oh believer, what's wrong with you? You're not pondering over Quran. He said Allah wasn't going to say that. Allah was going to say, what's wrong with the disbeliever? Why is he not pondering? Meaning you believer, you definitely pondering. That verse supposed to make every believer like melt. So what's wrong with them? So what's wrong with me? When the disbeliever was told, what is wrong? You have not yet pondered over Quran. Imagine the believer stands on the day of Qiyamah and he is told, did you ever make an effort to understand Quran? And he will say, very busy. Allah open a way for every one of us. For the young child, Allah opened the way that he can learn Nazara with the meaning of Quran. His tarbiyat nurturing can take place with Quran. For the Hafiz boy, as he is memorizing the surah, he is thinking of the meaning. As he learns the surah in the morning, he reads it during the day. By the time he gives his sabak the next day, that Quran has become part of his life. He has repeated the verse so many times, thinking of the meaning penetrated his mind and heart. As he completes his Quran, if someone used to say, how's this boy's character? Then somebody else would say, his character is the character of Quran. But when that effort was not made and is not being made, then the time came when people, they honored the Hafiz of Quran so much. They said, he's a Hafiz of Quran. But a few months later, they said, you know what the Hafiz did? And the Hafiz was also found in the club. The Hafiz was also taking drugs. The Hafiz was found high. The Hafiz took an overdose. He said the Hafiz, he was called a protector of Quran. Actually, Quran was his protector. But it would happen only when he was living with his friend Quran. For which reason the ahadith spoke about it, Ahlul Quran. The people of Quran or the family of Quran. What is a family? A family is where everyone knows the language. No boy can grow up and his mother and father speaking and he says, I don't know what you all say. He can't. He knows their language. If they're speaking slow English like me, he'll pick it up. If they speak fast English like you, he'll pick it up. They speak Gujarati, they speak Chinese. We got in our madrasa students from different parts of the world. Each language is so unique. But we say Chinese is so unique, when they write also they write upside down. Other ones like this, they write this, so you wonder how you read like this. They normal, they say normal, they grow up. You say you grow up in the family. If I have to read your Chinese, I'll get a neck pain. How am I going to see? You say I grew up. You say you are a person of the family. When it came to where is the family of Qur'an, first thing of the family is someone so related to Qur'an that everyone says they're brothers. But definitely a brother also understands the language of his brother. Allah make it every one of us before we die, we become Ahlul Qur'an, from the people of Qur'an. As we will make this journey to become from the people of Qur'an, then Qur'an will speak to us. Every question, every doubt, Qur'an will answer. Qur'an will show us when we see that man smoking his weed, sitting at the beachside, he got it there in his tongue, biting hard and saying, you want one sip, you want one bite. When cocaine is offered, when drugs are offered, when liquor, alcohol is offered, and that person looks up, and immediately Quran will speak, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانِ أَن يُوقِعَ بَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ فِي الْخَمْرِ. Quran will speak and he says, oh my friends, the devil desires to create anger, hatred, enmity amongst you and others. He wants you to hate your mother, hate your father, hate your teacher. He wants the husband to hate the wife, wife to hate the husband. That nation that took to drinking, they look so nice before they take the first sip. But after they take that first sip, how they start behaving. I said in one airline, one man from a Muslim country, Allah make him maaf. Many Muslim countries, they have become addicted to beer. Now they are coming out of it. Now they are realizing who put us in this beer. When they fill that beer, they fill it like to the top and they always make it go off. Here they like what is called, I don't know, gin. Gin, they put that gin. We know gin is the devil, they put it gin. Tonic and gin, give me that. And when you sit next to them, so I sat next to him, thinking he's a Pakistani. I was so happy I got a Muslim next to me. I said, oh, after that Muslim who drinks. I said, he drinks more than the non-Muslim in front of me. So he said, I said, this is going to be a long trip. He sat next to me and now he ordered his beer. And they had to fill it. So as the thing goes on the outside of the cup, now he's holding it and as he's drinking, he's purposely messing also. I'm just trying to look that side in the window. And then the time came where he needed to fill in one card and he said, Maulana, we got a pen. And my poor pen was sacrificed like me. I told him, you can keep it, like, don't give it back. So then I asked him, like, why you drink? So he laughed, like, he said, you know how many sicknesses there are in the world? He said, you know, this glass here is the cure for all my sicknesses. And like, yeah. And when I drink this, I forget my wife who's troubling me in South Africa. So everything is forgotten. But is it really true? Does he really forget? So I had another experience. Normally all our experiences, I just have to have in the aeroplane on this. I sat in the aeroplane, one man sat next to me. He coming from Durban to Johannesburg. I was coming from one program in Durban, in Bayan, he was coming from the club. So normally when they graduate and they all go to Durban or Cape Town and they have at the beach one big festival. So he was just from that festival. Whatever it's called, like you have the club and in the club you get the different areas, zone B, zone C, whatever it is, like each your card allows you in that zone, that zone. And all night you just dance and dance and dance. So he sat next to me, so I asked him, how are you, like, where are you coming from, going? He said, I'm coming from Joburg. I said, I'm from Joburg. He said, you went to Durban. He said, you went for the club also. So I said, no. He said, why will you go Durban? What else is there in Durban? For him, it was only the club. So he showed me his badge, like, he said, see, I was in zone E or something. So he explained to me the zones. But then he started getting tired. He said, but you know, I'm so tired, my head is hurting. My head is hurting. The whole night I was drinking and dancing. Whole night. So then we spoke for a while. I asked him, what do you find in this life? Does it give you a happiness after you become sober? So he said, no, when man is sober, there's no happiness. So instead of having no happiness, you rather search for a little happiness. That's their life. No happiness. Then he slept. While he was sleeping, he started shaking in his sleep. And his head moved a few times, very rough. Then he woke up and he went back to sleep because his whole night he was dancing. So as they made the announcement, we're going to be landing soon, then his eyes started opening. So I told him we had a very rough sleep. We sleep to relax. He in his sleep is being punished. He said, you had a rough sleep. He said, every night when I sleep, I have terrible nightmares. Nightmare is nightmare. He said, terrible night. Double trouble. I said, what do you see in your dreams? He said, so many times I see I'm on the cliff. And like someone just pushes me off and I'm flying. And as I'm flying, like I'm screaming and I just wake up. So every night you see things like that. So I never had time to talk to him. Now we're already landing. As I was leaving, I said, that man in whose sleep he cannot find peace. Where is ever going to find peace when he's awake? But when you see their world when they're drunk, you think this is the life. Qur'an will say, no way. Qur'an will say, the devil is intending to break you. Then Qur'an will say, Allah has announced, فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. Why don't you stop? Why don't you pull back? The way it speaks Qur'an. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. Can't you hold back? The person whose friend is in Qur'an, he will see drugs in Qur'an. He will see alcohol in Qur'an. He will see evil, filthy woman in Qur'an. He will see prostitution in Qur'an. Whenever his thought comes that maybe I must walk in this direction, Qur'an will say, hold on, let me show you another story. That man who's looking at first class and he's saying, how I wish I could travel first class. Qur'an will speak. Qur'an will speak about if Allah wished, He would have given the disbeliever gold in this world. So much of gold that He would make the steps of his house out of gold. The few that we see when we look at Facebook, we look at WhatsApps, we look at our Instagram, and now there's something called follow me. Be a follower. He got 1 million followers. He got 2 million followers. Now I'm seeing his yacht. What a yacht he got. Now I'm seeing his mansion. I'm seeing his cars. I follow him. Say, why you follow him? Because everyone is following him. Never be a follower except of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because that individual, his car is smart, but he is not smart. His house is smart, but he got no house. His wife might be looking the smartest, but she's not his wife. He is busy with another woman, she is busy with another man or another woman. Everything is an outside picture. When you go inside, you will see the whole thing is broken. Only Qur'an can show you this. Qur'an will say, let me take you in the train. You really want to see first class? Come, I'll show you first class. Qur'an will say, and I'll show you last class also. When a friend is Qur'an, the mind will open up. Qur'an is the only thing that takes us on the other side. When you will go on the other side, you might end up in first class and you will find a man who got food in front or a menu, but he's not ordering. He got an aircon, but the aircon is not making him cool at all. He got the best bed in first class, but he's not sleeping. You will ask him, why are you so sad? He doesn't answer. Have you ever seen depressed people? We have seen. You might think it's the poor man who can't afford to fly in the sky. We found the depressed man was the man who had a garden which I couldn't see one weed in it. But in that house he could not find 1 minute of happiness. I said to him, your garden is more for me than for you. Like, I don't need a bed in your house, I'll sleep on your garden. This garden is like Jannah, but the same garden for him is Jannah. If the world had to say the aircon brings happiness, we will find hundreds of thousands who got the best aircon. They sell aircons. They are living in depression. Ask the man in first class, you're not happy. How can you not be happy? What don't you have? And if the man doesn't answer, maybe somebody else will come. It might be a police officer to answer. And he will say, don't trouble him too much. This man is not a happy man. The reason is because he has become found guilty. He is a rebel. And the nature of a rebel is when they catch him, the government will make a lesson out of him. So he's a rebel. He tried to overthrow the system. They caught him. All his other people have been killed. He's the last. They want to make a lesson out of him. They're taking him to another town. Everyone will be gathered. They're going to hang him tomorrow. But as a gift, the king said that his last journey, make it comfortable. Last journey. So we put him in first class. What we got to lose? But the police officer will say, but do you expect him to be happy in this life? With the move of every wheel, and you know how fast the train moves. It says every second this man is looking at the clock, knowing that my destruction is coming closer and closer. As they start reaching the platform, his heart will. When they will open the door, his eyes will drop. When they will pull him out, they're not going to be taking pictures and honoring him and say, give me autograph, sign for me please. People are just going to be looking at him. He will just be looking down. They'll give him one night to sleep, but you think that night he will sleep. The next day they'll bring him, they'll put something over his head. He can't even see now where he's going, destruction. They'll put that rope around his neck, he'll feel it, but he won't know when is the last moment. He won't know when the man is going to hit that chair under him and he's going to start screaming for breath. You won't know. So do you ever think this man, even in first class, can find happiness? I ask you. That person, believer or disbeliever? Disbeliever doesn't even know where he is going. But that believer who wants to walk the road of a disbeliever, he wants to take his drug, he wants to take his liquor, he wants to live his life, but he knows where that disbeliever is going. That disbeliever at night when the clock hits, and a phone call comes, your friend died. Forget the friend died, he also dies that night. Again he gets gripped, what if I die tomorrow? Every day he lives with the fear, what if I die? What if I die? His wheel is also moving. A time comes where his drugs and his money brings the world to him, but he got no life. He's just looking at it, the aircon is blowing, but it can't make his heart cool. The bed is there, but it can't make the eye close. You say, I need my tablets. 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll see him walking on the beach. He got no family. His wife, he got no wife. If there was, she already walked out of the house. When he talks, he doesn't know what he's saying. What he's saying. Sometimes he's looking in the sky and laughing. Just an ah. You look at him, sometimes he's fast asleep nowhere. He fell down in the drain. I reached one place for a lecture. At the end of the lecture, one friend who had fallen into drugs, very bad drugs. But Allah gave him tawfiq. He was about 1 hour away. So he heard that this lecture is taking place in that drunk state, dirty state. The night before that or a few nights before that, the person who used to sleep next to in what we call like gutters. Because when you're in the life of drugs and your family kicks you out, where are you going to go? So then you're not bothered about, you just sleep anywhere. So you get your clique, everyone is sleeping. But the man who's sleeping next to him for a few months, that man died because as you take the drug, then you have the overdose. Then you start shaking, but everyone around you is also addicted, so no one's going to help you. He shakes and you start screaming, then you vomit, all the vomit is over you. But the other person is sleeping next to him also, he can't help, he's also so dirty. You live in dirt. So he went out that night when he came, he's moving his friend, wake up, friend is not waking up, he realized my friend is dead. Next to his dead friend he must have slept also. Till the next day when he came, his friend was gone. But then it hit him, what if it was me? So around that time he heard that I got a lecture 1 hour away. So he's telling me that I went I went to one person, I said, I want to go for the lecture. When you're on drugs, everyone just laughs at you also. They say, you want to go for lecture. They give me money, I need for taxi to go lecture. He's the last person to go lecture. So no one gave him money. How? I don't know how he managed. First he needed to take a ghusl. He had to look for a shower. Finally he found one shower. He said, how can I go for bayan dirty? Then he needed money. Whoever is going to ask, give me money to go for a bayan. People know a drug addict, he'll say anything for money. No one will just laugh at your face to say, very nice money for bayan. But he managed to reach. At the end of the bayan, people are making salam to me, he meets. He waited, but the people of the town immediately told me that just stay away from him. So I said, no, I know him. And I went and I spoke to him for a while, but he wasn't in his state. He just told me that, make dua. I don't want to die in a state when I'm intoxicated. I don't want to die. Amazing how he said it, how Allah made it. I haven't seen many people coming out of their dirt when they deep intoxicated. But how I saw this boy just come out. 1 year later when I looked at this boy, he was studying to become a alim. How Allah took him out of it. One sentence he made, I don't want to die in the state. He made that effort. How he made that 1 hour journey? When the person wants to, then Allah hears his intention. Qur'an will speak. So you think this man can never be happy? What they living in? Then Qur'an might even say, come. It will give the mind the understanding, the one who ponders over Qur'an. It will take you into the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It will take you into the life of the great people of the past. It will take you, they had simple lives and they told their people, are you dying for smart things? I invite you to a world which is much smarter. This world is short and coming to an end. مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. What you got is coming to an end. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. What is by Allah will remain forever and ever. This Quran said, should I not show you? You're thinking of business. Quran said, هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَىٰ تِجَارَةٍ. I'll also teach you business. There's one business where you make a little money to buy the things of this world. Either the things come up and you go down, or in front of you the whole thing collapses and you fall in depression. And there's a business by Almighty Allah, a business that never fails. While you're alive, you're enjoying this business, it's making you happy. And as soon as you die, you start seeing the fruits of this business. Empires after empires are created. Quran. But the understanding of Quran, you will be able to see into last class. Not economy minus economy. You might see a man who got 3 bags around him. He doesn't have to worry of aircons because in that class the windows are also broken. So as the train is moving, the air is blowing in. He got perspiration coming. He got flies moving around. You feel so sad when you see him. But you see him smiling. You'll ask him, how can you smile? The man in first class is not smiling. How can you smile? That man will say, why shouldn't I smile? I'm going home. So what do you mean you're going home? Where are you coming from? He says, me, my father, my mother sent me a few years ago to come work here. I can't be Barbados. Can't say he sent me to Barbados to work. No one works in Barbados. But let's say he sent me to America, England. In England you'll see people working. Husband works, wife works, even the child works. Everyone works. When the husband comes home, the wife goes to work. So the only connection they have is she puts the food in the microwave, he takes it out of the microwave. And she got letters written for him. So I say, at least weekends you'll spend time together. He say, yes, weekends we got time. I say, what you do? You go out for picnic? They say, no, weekends we clean the house. So he is vacuuming there and she's cleaning there. Oh, we no one to clean the house. After they clean the house, again they're tired, they go back to sleep. I say, so when do you ever get life? He says that every 3 months we get a 3-day holiday. So then we fly to another country, Turkey, just so that we can relax. So you work like animals to relax for 3 days. So hard. That person who says, my mother, father sent me, they said, just work for a few days because we need money to build your house. When he reaches there, he remembers. That's why we have a friend called Qur'an. It will continue reminding me and you, don't forget why we are. That boy, if he reaches and he forgets his mother and father sent him, he will become so busy working. At the end of the month, when he's supposed to take out that money and send it home, he starts spending it on himself. He says, weekend is coming, Saturday night, Friday night, let's enjoy. Let's enjoy. And he burns it all. And that father and mother are waiting, no money is coming, didn't he find a job still? That boy, if he works for 50 years, he will live under the curse of his mother and father for 50 years also. Because every day when he works but he doesn't send, his mother and father will curse him, we sent you for us, you forgot us. But if he got a friend who every week can remind him that others are going to the club, we got another world coming, that's our club. Let's just make a little bit of sabr, patience. Qur'an will be that friend. It tells him send, he sends, he sends, he sends. And after 5 years or 6 years, me and you, we only got 5-6 years in this world. You might think, I think I got 50 years. That 50 years is the biggest lie. Once you reach 40 years old, your body already starts giving up. So you can't count after 40. When you reach 50 years, you are a man of the grave already. So 40 is like your age. When you're young, you really think that, I'm 15 years, I'm the boss. Like. Because you're only looking at the child who's younger than you playing yo-yo. I don't know if you all got yo-yo anymore. So you see him playing yo-yo, he's a lady, that I'm like a man. And when you become 20, you think, now I'm the man of the men. Now you walk on the beach, you bounce also. Say, there's no one like me. You got that few years. Once you reach 25, you get married. Then you realize that you're not Mr. Man, you're not Mr. Mako, you got a wife with a well and with a stick. She said, I'm the boss. If you think you're the lion, I'm the trainer. Now you want to talk loud, you won't get breakfast next morning. Now you understand that, I'm just like a guy. Now you meet your friends, you say, hey, his wife. Then you realize that you only got 5 years. 5 years. In that 5 years, don't fall for the devil. Don't fall. 5 years. If that friend can tell you, just don't forget. Send. Worry of that world. Make a little sabr. I know it's not easy. A pretty girl comes in front. Who doesn't want to look? Some people think like Maulanas, they don't like to look. Some people think. That's why you see some aunties, they make parda from everyone. But when they come to the Maulana, they lift up their parda. Someone say, you're not making parda. Say, Maulana is cool. Maulana, he got no desire. Hey, what do you think? Why he got married? So some people think the Sheikh, the Maulana, the old man, he got no desire. Even an old uncle, Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib, what we call it, the person who we took a lot of benefit from spiritually. He said, when I was a young boy, I used to travel in the bus in India. He said, there were times when I used to see that old Baji, old means Baji means very old, like white here. He said, I used to see that Baji, his eyes are also like closed because he got that hair coming. But in front of him, that Hindu girl used to come and sit because in the buses you face each other. And the Hindu girls, they wear shorts, so their legs are showing. So she puts her legs like this here. He said, I would see that Baji walk. He said, Baji, like what you got? You already passed your era. He said, you think desires go? Desires don't go from no one. It doesn't go from me, it's not going to go from you. But a friend whose Qur'an will say, can you hold yourself for a while? Few days, just few days, send for that world. Send for that world. That person who sends for that world, the day comes when his father says, come home. That man is in the train now. He said, I'm going home. He said, why should I be happy? As soon as the train reaches the final stop, they're opening the doors. I'm jumping out. Everyone is meeting me, hugging me. That's when my autograph. Me and you are going home. We are on our journey. only got this few years. As we live in this world of the beaches and the entertainment and the kites, and you look at it and remember first class and last class, and say instead of being first class and not being able to eat one morsel of food, because that man is not going home, or he doesn't want to go. As for me, I already know I'm going home, and I want to. So even if I'm put in last class, I can still smile. And that man, even if he's in first class, that smile of his also is alive. Me and you take this message. Wherever Allah puts us in this world, whichever class, we have to know we're going home. And we have to be looking forward to the journey. Only that man looks forward to the journey who's always sending for the journey. Few days of sabr, and we're on our way through. May Allah Ta'ala bless me with the ability that I can control my desires, I can control my eye, I can control my thoughts. I fight it. It becomes hard. It makes me burn. I heard of the man died as a martyr. I said how lucky he is. He passed away, he gave his life for Allah, he gave his blood for Allah. Then I also see myself bleeding. I want to look at that picture, but I say no. Then I feel I'm bleeding, my heart is burning. I want to message that girl I like, I say no. It's troubling me, at night it's troubling me, it's troubling her. She say my heart is bleeding, say my heart is bleeding. She say you don't message me, I'll kill myself. They always say that they've never killed themselves. They always say I'll kill myself. Sometimes they write to me an email. Their boyfriend broke their heart. They writing to me the email, I want to kill myself. What I got to do with it? Write it to him, he must come and say, I must call the ambulance. They go into that world now and they finish themselves. The one who will let his blood go for Allah will never have to worry of committing suicide. Allah will give so much of happiness that in bleeding they'll find enjoyment. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man ashiqa, that individual who gets gripped in love, wrong love, impermissible love, thumma katama, despite that urge, he holds himself, he controls it, he hides it. He lives with it, he dies with it also, but he doesn't give expression to it. You know how hard it is? How hard? Thumma mata. And the day comes where he dies with the pain. Nabi Sallallahu said, Mata shaheedan, he has died as a martyr. He got his shahada. Every day of his, he was dying for Allah. This sacrifice is what me and you need to learn. To fight for Allah, to sacrifice for Allah is not a disgrace, it's an honor. To bleed for Allah is not painful, it's enjoyable. To break the heart for Allah is the one who makes the heart after. Give your heart to anyone besides Allah, and they will break the heart, they will never make it. Break your heart for Allah, Allah will immediately make it. May Allah keep me always smiling. May Allah keep you always smiling. Let us live in this world looking forward to a journey that's definitely coming. It's called my akhirah. The next journey, my meeting with my Allah, my entering into paradise. Allah make us all of paradise. By going in the stages of Jannah, reaching a place where we all desire Jannatul Firdaus, having the doors open, the entertainment really starting, the angels coming around, people coming with young boys coming with drinks. Will you take this drink? Will you take this drink? Then وَلَحْمِ طَيْرٍ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ. Then that meat it is called لَحْمِ طَيْرٍ, the meat of the bird, whatever you desire. And then there will be fish. وَفَاكِهَةٍ مِمَّا. And then there will be the best of fruits. The tree will come. I had coconut today, it was so fresh. Then I had fish yesterday, it was so fresh. Then they said the fish of Barbados is the best fish. Then they asked me, what do you think? Obviously I'm in Barbados, I have to say yes it is. Otherwise they won't give me again. But in Jannah, if you want something, that fish will be so fresh, it will be the fish that itself will jump out of the water. and it will jump past the man and lie in a plate. And he will say, "O man of Jannah, how would you want me made?" As he's thinking, different parts of the fish will be made in different manners. You say you want it fried, you want it fried, you want it grilled, it will just be turning. Then when we eat, one of the biggest problems of this world is when we eat, the stomach comes out. And sometimes worse than that, the burp comes out. Worst burp is when you're eating salah. Worst burp is tarawih time. In England, they make iftar with biryani. How they do it? And some of them, they give adhan, and 10 minutes later is salah. In that 10 minutes, they eat the whole plate of biryani. So I read namaz in that masjid. After I changed my masjids. Because when the few uncles in the front burp, there's biryani everywhere. Everywhere there's biryani. Where are you going to think of Qur'an at that time? So much. This world, you can eat in Jannah, that same fish comes out. There will be no getting fat. There will be no stomach is paining. There will be no problem. And then there is another, after you eating, you're enjoying, Allah Ta'ala says, وَحُورٌ نَعِيمٌ. But because now my time is finished now, so we will end on that one. I have to go out now. The woman is calling me. So I will leave you all, inshallah. The program will continue from here. May Allah Ta'ala make us that we get there to the Jannah. And if someone will say, what happens after wahurun naim, then the best they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. Reach Jannah. And when Allah described the woman of Jannah, that description can only really be understood the day we will reach there. Allah make us all reach there. It is something that we cannot imagine. But for 5 years of this world, don't lose it. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil
Jazakallah for respect to Maulana for the enlightening words. Inshallah, Allah Ta'ala reward Maulana and granting the best for coming here. Inshallah, Maulana's programs continue tomorrow as well. Inshallah, tomorrow will be a program in Medina Masjid. Medina Masjid after Isha Salah. So Medina Masjid after Isha Salah will be Maulana's program tomorrow. Then Tuesday night will also be here in Jama Masjid. So now we're going to change up things. Boys, don't leave. We got some. Everyone wants to eat, right?